Hi, Rebecca here. Today we're going to be looking at my new Kaigelu 316, which I ordered because it had a fancy schmancy nib. So I ordered this on AliExpress because that was where I could get the fancy schmancy nib. And I struggled with the box a bit, but eventually, here comes the pen. Eventually. Takes a while. Yeah, I kind of suck. Okay, beautiful spring greens, white finials, white section. More about that later. It's beautiful. It's a very pretty pen. It's classic style, Parker Duofold style. And here's me looking at the section, and you can see that the white material is not consistent. There are places where the white is not all the way through, so it looks kind of like cracks, but it isn't cracks, it's just the white is not consistent. So yeah, that's weird, but acceptable. It's, nothing fancy. It's not a $300 pen. It's a $57 pen, 57 Canadian. Although, really, for $57, I would expect a little better in the material. Cartridge converter, nice smooth converter action, and a really pretty spring green material with the white trim and gold hardware. Fake gold, but yeah, tonally gold. So when I get a new pen, this is a few days later, note the nail change. Can always tell when I'm recording by my nails. I wanted to interview my green inks and see what to put in here. So first I go to the woodland greens, which are my foresty greens and my grade greens and my golden greens, all the greens you find easily in nature. And nothing on that page is pleasing me. So, yeah, Kaigelu wasn't bad, but not great. But I know I've got more greens. And there they are. I've got the bright, almost intense spring greens. And that's what I decide to go with in the end, is the bright, intense greens. That first one, probably too unsaturated. So let's choose the most saturated of the greens and go with that, so that it has legibility when I put it in the pen and write with it. Okay, we're back and we're inked. So I chose the Robert Oster Jade because I thought it would be more legible than some of the lighter bright greens. But this pen cried out for a bright spring green, not a woodland or forest green. So nothing mossy or grade green or yellow green. Just a bright, clear spring green. And Robert Oster Jade is that one. So today is the 3rd of January. I write my dates such that the smallest is at the outside corner. So the 3rd is the day being the smallest, then the month, then the year. And then on the back side, it'll go 03/01/2025, so that when I flip from corner to corner, from page to page, I can easily follow the dates in my head. It might not be easy to other people. So I inked this pen. Let me show you. Yeah, there's a converter with ink in it. And there's a lot of twisting. Oh, and here comes Nell. That shadow is a cat. Getting the cap out of her way. I'm just going to put that somewhere safe until she decides where to settle. I bought this pen not just because it was pretty. It is pretty, and I've had Kaigelu 316 and 316As before. This one ran somewhere between $21 and $27 or $28 per pen on AliExpress. That's Canadian dollars. If you're gobsmacked at how expensive it was, yeah, that's Canadian dollars. But it went up to $57 when I chose the Long Knife Nib option. Now, I chose the Long Knife Nib option because I had seen a couple of videos by Inkquiring Minds, Douglas Rathbun of Inkquiring Minds, spelled with an I-N-K at the beginning, and I will link them down below. He talked about the long knife nib, the long blade nib, the long sword nib, and how the names are just different interpretations, different Japanese to Chinese to English interpretations of the Naginata Togi style nib. So I should expect a nib on this that is similar to a Naginata Togi in that when I hold it up high, I should get thin lines, and when I write at my normal angle, I'll get thicker lines, and when I write at a lower angle, I'll get even thicker lines. And I should have some sort of architect-like expression to the writing. So let's try that, shall we? I've been waving this around uncapped for a while, so who knows if it'll even work. Okay, this is my normal writing angle. It's a little narrower than the cross stroke. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3 cross strokes, but not much. I'm not seeing a lot of architect to it. So this is very awkward for me holding it up at this high angle, but let's see what we get. Ooh, much thinner lines. Yeah, much thinner lines. And we'll try, yeah, this is very uncomfortable. And not appreciably thicker than the first lines. So I'm not getting what I would call a Naginata Togi, that's a G, not a B, effect. I'm barely even getting an architect effect. So that's a bit thinner than that, but not much. So will I get thick and thin with the swirls, which have to be slow to be legible for me? A bit thick and thin. The cross stroke here is a bit thinner. It gets fat that way. And there's some architect-like properties, but I'm just not seeing it. I'm wondering if it was worth paying the extra $21 for this fancy schmancy nib. Let's see if I can get you to focus. 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 Yeah, I don't think I can get you to focus in very well. Or if you can, I can't see from here. Honestly, my eyes are shot. It's an interesting nib, but this feels good. This feels good. This feels okay. That feels scratchy. So that one is scratchy. This direction is scratchy. This is okay. That is horribly scratchy. This is okay. That's a bit scratchy. So scratchy, scratchy, scratchy. I'm thinking there's some slightly misaligned tines, and I don't know if I'll be able to see them under the loop. Let's see what we can see. No, it's just going to be a bunch of glare. Let's try the light off. No, that's not going to work at all. Sorry. And I paid $21 extra for this nib, and I'm thinking it wasn't worth it. My experience with Kaigelu nibs for the 316 and 316A has been that they are appreciably fatter and wetter than I was expecting. For example, I bought a medium and it writes more like a double broad. I bought an extra fine and it writes like a medium. But this one is listed on the sale site as a 1.0 to 1.45 millimeter long knife. And I'm thinking not worth 21 Canadian, in my opinion. Would it be worth $21 Canadian in your opinion? It might. But in my opinion, the line variation is not appreciably different. The writing experience is not appreciably better. So I should have just bought a fine or an extra fine and been done with it. Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm not disappointed in the physical pen. The pen body is beautiful, except for that weird, like it's supposed to be white here, but it's got this streak of almost clearness and the streak here of almost clearness that looks like a crack. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like a crack from some angles, but it's not. It's just the color isn't solid. So yeah, there's another one on the underside. It looks like a smudge or a smear, but it's just where the white color is not solid. So pen, nice. Worth the $21 to $27 I would have paid for it with a standard nib. Worth $57? No, I don't think so. So I'm a bit disappointed. Yeah, I can't tell you anything about the history of this nib or specialty grinding techniques or anything like that. I just thought it would be something different, maybe architect-like, as what I heard about it included the word architect-like. So I figured there would be line variation, but no, not enough. Not an appreciable amount of line variation. So sad. Sad face. But not mad face. So yeah. On the plus side, it's not too wet. It's not dry. It's a comfortable pen to write with. And it's pretty. It is a home for my spring greens, of which I have a few, as you know. I chose this more legible one for today, but I know I'll put the lighter ones in there at some point. There'll be a season for them, spring being that season, and maybe into summer. But for now, this one is probably going to get written dry and then be cleaned and put away. So yeah, thanks for coming with me on this ride of, well, disappointment. But pretty pen, not worth the extra $21 for the nib grind. If I were to make this, if I were to buy again, knowing what I know now, I would buy it with a regular nib and call it good. But, you know, I wanted to experiment, so I had to do that. You have to learn these lessons. Thanks for coming with me. Bye.